Hi ladies! Fit Mom Foundations ladies, how's it going? It's Tutorial Tuesday. There she is!
Hi!
She's with us!
I was gonna sneak up on her.
Well, it would have been more sneaky if I didn't hear you scuffling on the carpet or know that you were right there.
Yeah, I was doing the wind up.
Or she wouldn't have said, I'm gonna sneak up on you. All of those things combined. So today, for Tutorial Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the ski jump Kegel.
Yes. So the reason that this is important is because alignment is important. And so we are going to be talking about how to get into proper alignment. So Jill is going to turn this around.
Yep.
So that I can talk.
All right, so let's have you go. I might need to come over here because you're a little dark. Check out my Christmas tree. Okay, go ahead and go back just a little bit. That way? Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so what happens to most of us during pregnancy and after, we get pulled forward. And so what a lot of us do during pregnancy is we kind of sit forward in our hips and lean our rib cage back in order to compensate for belly and boobs out in front here, right? And then what we've talked about a lot is that when we're out of alignment, then the pelvic floor and the diaphragm don't work the way that they're supposed to. So after pregnancy, it doesn't get much better because we're now used to this position, but now we're also carrying a baby and locking ourselves forward into that position.
Mm-hmm.
So now what we're doing is our bum is now gripping and tucking under, and our rib cage is way out behind. I'm exaggerating this. And our rib cage is way out behind our sacrum here. And so this is not a position of power. I know it looks really good.
You look H-O-T.
But this is not a position of power for our core. And the core is really important because it stabilizes our body for all of our movements. So what we need to do is, if you think that you might be a butt gripper, which most of us probably are, we need to start finding ways to get ourselves into a better alignment. And a really great trick to doing this is what is called the ski jump Kegel. So if I kind of move my hips back and forth, I try to extend and then I round them under, extend. If I come to a neutral position, do you see how my butt just dropped right down?
I'm going to zoom in on your butt so we can see.
Do it. So here I am moving my pelvis around just to kind of see if I can find neutral, and then that is the position that feels comfortable. Well, that's way tucked under.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a position of power for my pelvis. My sacrum is tucked under, which means that my pelvic floor is not working the way that it should. So
can I show him your apex? So
yes.
One of the things that you'll notice, because at first glance it might not look like she's that far tucked under, but what you're going to see is that the apex of her low back, where it dips in the most, is way higher than it needs to be.
Right.
Way higher.
It should be right here at the top of the tailbone, but mine is up here because I'm sitting into my pelvis and leaning back with my rib cage.
And this is something a lot of moms experience. I have the same exact thing going on.
Yeah, and it does take some work because obviously I'm 9 months postpartum. I've been working on this stuff, but it takes some time to rebuild. So be patient with yourselves too. So I'm using myself as an example.
So when the apex is high.
Yeah, when the apex is high and you're kind of leaning back with your thorax, and then you're gripping your butt to tuck under, what you want to do is lean forward from the ankles, sort of like a little Michael Jackson move. I think we've talked about this before. This not only helps work the front of the pelvic floor, which is what we talked about in the past, but it helps change the position of the pelvis. So let me go back from, I'm in my heels here, my bum's kind of tucked under. Now watch my pelvis. I'll try to get my hands out of the way as I lean forward.
Boom.
It's sort of subtle, but my bum untucks. And you might be able to feel this when you do this on your own. If you feel like you're going to fall forward, then just do this with a wall in front of you or with a chair out in front, because I don't want you to have to worry about, like, you know, balancing. That's the word I was.
But show us what balance looks like again. It's like the Scooby-Doo dream sequence.
Okay.
Write that down. That was good. So the other thing I want to touch on real quick with Cara, because this happens to all of us. The other thing that that comes into play here, besides the position of the pelvis, is the position of the rib cage. So when the apex is high like that and your butt's tucked under, the other thing that happens is the rib cage flares. So there's one of two things that usually happen, and we like to think of the rib cage as a bell. Mm-hmm. So either your bell is rung up or your bell is rung down. Either one of those positions is not our ideal position when it comes to alignment and the way that our core and funky chicken functions together.
Right.
We want to have a well-functioning funky chicken.
Right.
So that's the other thing that the ski jump Kegel can show. So
right. So we want a quiet bell. We don't want it ringing anyway. We want it nice and quiet. So this is where we talk about the ribs being over the hips. Sometimes I think we say that and we don't really explain what we mean.
Right.
But this is what we mean, is we want that quiet bell. We don't want it ringing up. We don't want it ringing down. We want it neutral. And so now we're stacked on top of the hips and the bum is untucked. So when we lean forward into this position, we get ourselves into the alignment that we want. Now what I want you to do in this position is take a couple of our blueberry breaths, right? So we're taking a nice deep breath, expanding through the pelvic floor and the belly. We're exhaling and we're picking up that blueberry with our vagina. Mm-hmm. Inhale, expand. Exhale, pick up the blueberry. Do a couple breaths like that and then watch me. I'm going to shift back into neutral and see where my butt is. Still untucked.
Yep.
It didn't go right back under until I made it. It stayed in neutral. So the more often we can do this, where we can shift forward, breathe, our bodies adapt really well, and we can spend more time in that position so that we can start being in that position.
So build that into your day. It's probably not too hard to do. Oh, by the way, the screaming baby in the background is mine. However, he is playing in his room with his dad, so I'm not just a terrible mom, okay?
Yeah. We lock him in there.
He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He'll be fine. So the ski jump Kegel, that is our tutorial for you today. I'm not sure if any of you have it in your current programs, but you can definitely try it. You can even substitute it for one of the Kegel breaths that we have in your warm-ups. Give it a try, because a well-functioning core needs good alignment.
That's right.
So
have a great day, ladies.
Yeah, we're going to peace out. Peace. I made a dumb face.